Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Bernard Moore the third with More on the Road, presented to you by More and More Sports Management. Again, enjoying this beautiful Saturday morning. It is December the 4th, 2021, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, I know you see me in the background. I'm here live at John Trot Missionary Baptist Church here in Jackson, Mississippi, 925 West Pearl Street, where our pastor is Reverend Daniel Watkins Sr. Now, you may hear a lot of noise going on. We're doing some community events, preparing for a community event that's taking place tomorrow. We're having a cold drive along with our church service. But hey, that's us just doing the Lord's will. So continue to do what you do as the Lord asks you to do. Got a good show lined up for you today. It's a lot of excitement, a lot of fun, a lot of championship weekends going on, football going, about to come to a close, basketball is about to start up. But we're gonna dabble in a lot of different sports. But right now, I'm finna bring on my guests, whom that were introduced by a close acquaintance of my former Jack State football player. Again, putting together a benefit event, and he said, "Contact this young lady. I think she'd be a good player for us." So I contacted her, and she joined me, and we've been talking ever since, dealing with a lot of sports. So let's go ahead and bring on our guest that we have with us today. Hi, Coach Lisa Thomas. Well, I call her Lisa, but some people call her Coach. How you doing today, Coach?
Hey, I'm doing fine. How's everybody doing?
Hi, it is wonderful. I really appreciate you joining me this early Saturday morning. I know you have a lot going on, but I thank you for
Yes.
taking a few minutes to join me this Saturday morning. I know it was a last minute thing, but I really appreciate you coming on and joining us this morning. Now, just like I stated, I know you got a lot going on. What excitement events that you had that you're putting together right now? Because I know you're up to something.
Oh, you know me well. The next event I have going on is Camp for the Memphis Grizzlies. I just recently partnered with them, so that'll be coming to Jackson this month. And right after that, I have a training clinic going on all at First Baptist. So the community should be seeing dates for those soon. And I'm excited about once again giving back to the community and helping develop children where development is needed.
I know what now. I know God has blessed you with the ability and the talent to play this game of basketball. Why? What? I'm asking, what is your why? Because you can continue to go play international or either go play professional, but you still here using the gifts that the talent that God has blessed you with to do what you do. Why?
Um, the future is why. When I refer to future, that's the children. I've always wanted to be a constituent for children in the community. So if that means that I have to work to build and get places just so that I can help pull them up. That's what it's all about for me. I've never believed in having or keeping my talent for myself. I honestly believe that God gave us our gifts to share to others. So, in knowing that, you have to position yourself to do that. So, for me, my why is once again the future. You have to position yourself in order to help the future.
All right, now I know that there's different barriers that you face and challenge. Sometimes it's frustrating. I know being in the position where I am, put together events, doing things in the community. What challenges do you face sometimes when you're putting together events in the community?
Um, that's a good one. I think the main one would be lack of resources. Depending on what community I'm doing the camp in or what type of children are coming, it's almost like you have to be ready to provide for them, which is understood. But most of the times, there may not be enough for me to provide for each and every student. So that's where kind of getting help from the community comes in. Sometimes it's really slow. Sometimes I don't get all the help I need for them. But I
Uh,
think that's the only thing that I've faced every time there's been a camp. It's got better, but I think we could, get even better from where we are with that.
and so, what do you mean by resources? I mean, such as I know monetary wise, that helps out a whole lot. But what other
Right.
resources are that you're lacking to help, to really emphasize, to really hit a home run or a grand slam of what you're trying to do, of the mission or the objective that you're trying to accomplish? Other than finances, what other resources that you're lacking?
Food, transportation, um, even clothing to some degree, because if there's a policy in place for them to wear, let's say all black shorts,
Yes.
some may not be able to get that. So it's just the small things that any child would need coming to that camp, and most times it's personal, those personal items.
And I know that's definitely when you really attack the community to help you to provide those basic necessities of resources. Like I said, sometimes it's with clothing, because when you do a camp, you want everything to look professional, because you want the athletes, the student
Correct.
athletes, so that you're working with, to feel that they're in a professional environment, because of some of them, this is their future. This is what they
That's right.
aspire to be, and you're introducing them professionalism at an early age, and then hopefully that it help them grow. Now,
Right.
what can some of us as listeners, our followers, anyone that's paying attention to what we're doing, how can we be a helping hand to that, to help the resources that you're
Um,
lacking?
Look, as I told, because I actually had some coaches to reach out. It's a all hands on deck. My motto is still it takes a village to raise a child. So if you see a child in a village who needs something, you see that need, lend your hand to them. Offer it. So that's what I would really want help in. If you see where help is needed, with even sometimes without me having to ask, hey, I see that you have this going on. What do you need? How can I help you here? So that's what it all boils down to at this moment. Just for listeners or anyone who knows that it's a possibility for help. Hey, I'm open to it.
But now I know you can reach Coach Thomas all on via a lot of social media, all of the social media networks. I know, because that's how we mainly interact, via social media. About That's how I learned about some of the events that she's putting together via social media. So I know she's putting the information out there, but definitely need resources to help target, to help hit home what she's trying to accomplish. Again, I'm going back to, why are you working with the youth? Because some youth, I'm not gonna sit and say not knock everyone. We have some talented youth, especially this day of generation, this day of age. We have some very talented youth. But coach, you can't tell me nothing I don't know. I don't need to come to your camp, because I am the leading scorer on my team. I do this. No, I'm that guy. I'm that player on my team, coach. Why do I need to come to your camp?
Well, um, because you still need experience, even if you are the leading scorer on the team. Uh, Sometimes kids don't have character building. That's something that is needed if you're gonna go up a level. If you want to even go all the way to professional basketball, you need to have some character. And what I mean by character is simply knowing when to display um, attitude, or knowing how to control your emotions, knowing what integrity looks like, knowing what respect looks like, because you can have the game, but I see a lot of people get dismissed from the game because they don't have those character qualities. They don't have, the things that I just named. And that's one thing that I provide in my camp at all times, um, is not only teaching them skills, but you're also going to change your mentality while you're with me. Because it's necessary. That's what's going to last longer. A change in mentality and character, not the game. because you also you have to live a life outside of basketball. Basketball is going to end one day, and if you don't have those qualities, it's going to be a short-lived career.
But again, talking with Coach Lisa Thomas on More on the Road with Bernard Moore the third. I present to you more and more sports management. Coach, why do they need character to be successful? Why do they need uh, inspiring words to be successful? Again, my game speaks for itself, so that's going to take me from now until forever until I hang it up. Why do I need character? Why do I need leadership skills? Why
Um,
do I need to why do I need a coach to tell me that's not my actual coach? Why do I need another coach to tell me how to play the game?
Influence in society. Um, Sometimes your leading scorers on the team may be recognized the most.
Uh-huh.
And because they're recognized the most, now you have a generation who believes in following those who are quote unquote the popular player or the popular person. And they're going to want to do or be around that person. They're going to want to follow. And I have this thing where if you're going to lead somebody in the ground, follow the person with the worst character. So because I don't want that or try to prevent that, that is another why. If that answer your questions, if influence means anything, you want to make sure you're giving a good influence. And at the end of the day, overall, I just want them to genuinely be a good person. You know, outside of understanding that you are influencing others, genuinely be a good person. Do that for
Now,
yourself.
yes, and I know you hear some athletes, some professional athletes that how can I put this? Professional athletes are providing a source of entertainment. They're getting paid
Hmm.
to provide a source of entertainment. They're on TVs, they're on billboards, they're on video games, they're in magazines. Some of them feel that they're not a role model because only thing I'm doing is just either putting the ball into a hoop or catching the ball and running and or either knocking people out or hitting this little white ball with a stick or some other source of sports. I'm not why should I be a role model? But I know you're on TV all the time. You know, you see me on magazines. Why should I be a role model? Why should kids look up to me? I'm just doing something that I enjoy.
Right. Because you want to leave a good legacy. I think that everyone wants to leave a good legacy. No one wants to leave Earth not fulfilling anything that is desired by people. So although even professional athletes may say, "Hey, I'm doing this for entertainment. I'm doing it because I love it," in the back of their mind or their heart somewhere, I doubt if they want to leave, from Earth, not having a good legacy left behind them. That's because another thing I kind of hate to say it, people like it when people say good things about them.
Yes, yeah,
No
you
one wants
you
to
you
hear
hear it.
anything bad about them.
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes you got to, like I said, you got to hear the bad to get the good because of constructive criticism. You know, if I'm messing up,
That's
hey,
true.
don't like I said, don't call me out, embarrass me. No, hey, let me know what I'm doing wrong. So you're right. Yeah, you
Right.
need that constructive criticism.
Right.
Now let's transition back to let's go back down memory line. Now you're transitioning from high school to college to the pros to where you are right now. Who who did you look up to? Who inspired you to continue to do what you're doing now?
My mom was the last person that inspired me to do what I'm doing now. Um, After she passed, then it was some of the girls in the WNBA and even my best friend. So just different people who knew that I belonged to the game really inspired me. Because trust me, it has not been easy to hang on to. So, and them helping me to see the bigger picture, it's been, I don't regret any of it. And I'm thankful that I've had, everyone who's pushed me to it, you know. Um, to kind of keep me in it, and including you. You've been an inspiration as well with me
Nah,
doing or
thank you.
not.
Thank you so very much. I'm glad I could be. Now, what is the frustrating part about doing what you do sometimes that makes you want to say, man, forget all this stuff?
Expectation. Um, People will set a standard for you, and expect you to meet their standards. They don't understand what it's like to be in your shoes, but guess what? They want you to meet those standards that they have in mind for you. So I've had to learn to simply be myself, do what I can, and leave the rest to God. That's what I've had to learn to do. And then knowing that I've done my best, hey, whether I've met your standards or not, I'm here for a purpose, and as long as that purpose is fulfilled and I'm meeting the kids where they are, then everything is good. On my look for me, it's good.
Okay. Now, I'm not God. I'm a child of God. But if God called you and said, I don't want you to work with the youth anymore. I want you to work with adults. I'm gonna bless you with an opportunity to go work with adult professionals. Would you feel neglected? Would you feel, like I said, would you feel that you're neglecting out on the youth, or God, you're trying to set me up for something a little bit bigger?
Well, um, and you know what's funny? You're actually you confirming some stuff whether you know it or not. I know you're a child of God, but you on point right now.
I'm
Uh,
just a messenger now. Don't shoot the messenger now. Like I said, I'm right now inside of my I'm in the technology room at my church at Zion Tribe Missionary Baptist Church now. I am at church right now. I'm just delivering a message. That's all. That's
he
all that I'm doing.
honestly honestly, because I had to understand that life works in phases and you don't do the same thing all the time. You may circle back around to it,
Yeah.
but in every phase you're gonna do something differently. You're gonna elevate. So that's how I would view it. So, and you saying it, I wish I could just laugh more. I'm not gonna laugh too loud, but just know you're on the right path.
Well, I know, Coach, I understand because God will send you in directions that you look like I don't want to go down that road, but I know
Right.
you. It's a dark road, but you bringing the light to me, so I need to go down it to prepare me for something a little different that you're preparing me for. Now I can
That's
attest to
correct.
that. God has put me in certain situations where it's frustrating. I'm wondering why am I still here? Why, oh God, what are you doing? But then you realize this is what you preparing me for something
That's
greater.
right.
And I know we go through. God puts us in a certain position. God didn't put you in profession to go from a small town to go to college, to graduate college, to go to two. You went to JUCO, then went to 4 year. So God didn't put you in place from a high school to JUCO to 4 year university for just your greater good. And then since you have
Right.
an opportunity to go play and meet professional basketball player, professional individuals that we see on TV, He didn't put you there for just for your own greater good. He put you there just so that we can come back and do something, do His will. Because I can
That's
see it
right.
now. God has put me in certain places. God has introduced me to certain people so that I can do something for His greater good, not mine, for His greater good. I'm enjoying some of it, but sometimes I'm looking like God. This is frustrating. I'm tired. And sometimes I want to quit and give up, but God has continued to push. Now, like I said, you continue to push me to do this stuff. So we here for each other, Coach Thomas.
That's
We here
right.
for each other.
Don't go anywhere.
Only time when I'm leaving, when God said it's time for me to come home, and
That's right.
I can't fight against that. Now, Coach, again, I know you said that you're working on some camps and stuff. No, are there days coming on that you can at least share with us, or what's your targeted area, what you're trying to do, or something? Could you, like I said, give us a teaser of what you're trying
Um,
to do right now, or are you
I'll
able to
give
do that? Let's
you
put it that way.
for the clinic I can. The clinic is probably the 27th through the 28th, and I'm saying probably. Just waiting on final confirmation. But so far it's going through two stages of confirmation. So it's pretty much there. And that clinic is going to be held at First Baptist. I know I'll probably have Delta Report in attendance, and of course Scouts as normal um, in attendance, or even or either watching live stream. I know last time I had more coaches watching live stream than anything because of them getting prepared for seasons. So it's it'll be somewhat of the same, but my clinic is going to be a little more different, a little more individualized. The group may be smaller, um, but it's for children who are transitioning and trying to staple getting scholarships. Um, so it's really kind of made for the older kids, but the younger kids can still get trained as well.
Yeah, and with that, I know some camp organizers, they look at numbers instead of hitting a target.
Right.
And what I mean by they're looking at numbers, if I can get 1,000 kids at my camp, hey, I did good. I'm taking some stuff to the bank instead of target. My instruction, my clinics, it hit home. It taught something. It made something out of them. It really hit home.
Right.
What do you say about what do you say? Again, I'm not trying to knock anyone or what they're doing. If they're looking at numbers, go right ahead. Numbers do make a difference. But if you're really trying to target at what you want to do, numbers do make a difference as well. So you can really get that hands on onto them. What could you? How can you encourage some individuals to say, "Hey, I want to go to this camp that is given by player XYZ. He is the greatest in the world, so I'm gonna go to his camp." But you look at he got millions of athletes compared to, "Hey, I want to go to this camp where it's more one-on-one fundamental style. I want, especially as a parent, I want my child to really get some instructions." How can you know to help the parents to understand? I think numbers do matter, but numbers can help and hurt you if you understand how implementing the question.
I'm trying to.
Let
So
me just say, how could you explain to a parent that's they looking at this is one of the best players in the world, but
okay,
you're gonna have 1,000 kids, but this camp is really focusing on hitting it. So
gotcha,
how can you sell that to parents that's still
gotcha.
stuck in between?
You know what's funny? Even in you asking the question, you kind of gave an answer to it. In the one on one. Um, Normally how I explain that, and that's just even in how I train now, is that when a coach is able to personally develop a student alone, they have that student's focus. It's not on what other students are doing. It's just you that coach that ball and that goal. Even when you have a small group, and I just want to compare this even just to being in a classroom. You know that when a teacher has a smaller group in their classroom, they probably gonna learn more. She probably not gonna have to say sit down too much. She probably not gonna have to run to the other person too much. It's just she has a smaller group, so she's able to do more. And it's the same thing in basketball. Um, there's more focus, and even if let's say scouts are in attendance, now I don't have 1,000 kids versus 10. Higher chances, and more time to train. You'll even get more done with a smaller group.
Now I know we watched. I'm not gonna say. Well, I have been at a combine. The combines, the workouts that they have for, like I said, pre-draft combines, workouts, things like that, where they invite multiple guys from all over the country. Do you think is it sometimes a disadvantage to player to go to the combine because they know that things are going to be real rush, or is it best for them to give a personal workout and just invite a smaller group to really see his or her skills? Which one
It is
are you in
so
favor of?
much better. No workout all day. Unless it's football. Football is a little bit different than basketball. But basketball, you want to do a personal or a small group. If you go to a large combine with a lot of players when it comes to basketball, it is a higher chance of you probably not making it because just about everybody in there can do the same thing. And um, they're going to have a hard time keeping up with all the players. Combines is that sometimes they already know who they want. They just see you play against other people. That I really hate to throw it out there, but I'm throwing it out there, just in case someone needs it. But yeah, that's what
I said,
definitely a really
I said it.
workout.
And I know especially with the basketball combines, you have guys that really want to showcase especially when they're doing a 5-on-5 throughout the combine. And you put on a team with the guys that you have no idea how they play, but guys and girls you have no idea how they play, and they want to showboat. You're gonna have at least one or two on the team gonna want to showboat, want to ball hog. You got 5 minutes to do your thing, so you really can't showcase your talent because you playing with two ball hoggers. And I know that definitely kind of hurts the opportunity because if the coaches or the scouts don't know who you really are and they bring you out, like I say you do get lost in the shuffle. But I know I've heard some athletes, even football and basketball, they're real thrilled to go to the workout. Oh, I need to go to this workout. Man, all the different scouts gonna be there. Oh, I need to go to this workout. Oh, I need to go. I'm like, nah, calm down. You really don't need to go because you may get overlooked because of you run into a lot of competition. So again, this is more on the road. Bernard Moore the third, talking with Coach Lisa Thomas. Coach, I know, like I said, I know you got a lot going on right now, but I really do appreciate your time for joining me this morning. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we let you go?
No, nothing in particular.
I know. When you said you had them clinics, I'm gonna have my. Make sure you save my little corner now. I need my corner so I can see
Always.
everything.
Always.
Well, again, Facebook follower, friends, YouTubers, no, definitely stay tuned. Check her out on Facebook. Lisa Thomas, our Lisa Thomas, definitely look up and you see all the events that she have. I really enjoy my time at the events. My sons go out there and participate, and she has some outstanding coaches to come out there do a lot of teaching. Then some of the kids come on there bother me while I'm trying to do my thing. But hey, that's all out of fun. So it's all I love. Coach, I really appreciate your time, and I would definitely be in touch. And so we can definitely go ahead and get the camp information out there.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Appreciate it, Coach. You have yourself a good day.
All right, you too. Bye bye.
Yes. All right, again, that was Coach Arlisa Thomas. No, she's putting together some camps and stuff. Definitely pay attention to what's going on, what she's doing. Follow her via social media. Definitely look her up. Some of the things that she's doing. Now let's transition on to some football. Now I got some guests that are about to come in. There's some guys that I played that I attended Jack State with. Man, I'm giving it away, but some guys that I went to school with. Some very interesting guys. So definitely stay tuned for up. Again, this is more on the road with Bernard Moore III, presented to you by More and More Sports Management. Now, I don't know how to introduce these guys right now, but now I'm not finna try to overstep my boundaries and stuff because these are two super outstanding quarterbacks that broke a number of records while we were at school. And it seemed like they just followed behind each other. The one set of record, then they come back, another guy come back and break it. So I know the love is all there for both of them though, because I know that he didn't want his record to be broken, but if it had to be broken, it was by somebody that he was a mentor to. So joining me right now, I got the Superman, Robert Kent, and Mark Gunslinger Washington, former Jackson State quarterbacks. How you guys doing this morning?
Good, good. How are you, Bernard?
I'm good.
Doing good, Bernard, man. Can't complain at all. How about yourself?
Man, both of y'all down up, God dog. That's how I said we're going old school. Both of y'all down up on Sugar Hill. Man,
Yeah, you beat us to it.
If I get that, I'm going to sleep. I ain't trying to get back up right now.
No doubt.
Man, guys, I really appreciate y'all for joining me this morning. I know it was a last minute thing, but again, I appreciate you guys, man. I'm not sure. Are you guys in town? Because I know it's Jackson finna going to get crazy in a good way.
In a good way.
This way.
Yeah, I wish I was in town. It would no doubt be a weekend to remember being there. But I have other personal things going on this weekend. I got a slew of activities going on with the youngsters that we have to be at. So
I know. Hey, man, family first. What about you, brother
Man,
Ken?
hey, listen, man, I almost jumped on the road this morning. I literally almost jumped. I was like, man, I need to go. But just the Lord didn't see fit for me to be there. But you got to know, I'm going to be in tune. And I mean, for all the everything. I'm going to be calling, figuring out what's going on, how's it going, watching the game, all of the above. So, you know, the last SWAC experience for me was in 1999. And that wasn't the one that I want to remember the most. So hopefully, you know, the one I can jump into a little bit more now. It's right now, right here, right now.
Yeah, and see, that's what I wanted to get. I wanted to talk with both of you guys about that. That was a bad experience. That was a bad weekend for me too, man. I hated that weekend. I know in class, the teachers, I know I'm not writing out any teachers, but some of the professors told us if we won the SWAC championship, that we didn't have to take our finals. I didn't study not a day. I did not study. I said, yes, we finna win. We finna go. We finna win. We finna go to Atlanta. I didn't study. Then come down, woke up that Saturday. We our normal routine. Judge got us together, got all this stuff. I made sure everything good. We had lunch. I had a bad steak. Then get on the bus going to the stadium. My stomach started hurting. So I'm on the sideline, almost having bubble guts, and then mess with kicker boy with that kicking net. then we come down here and lose by 1 point. I'm on the sideline crying. I got to take the test. We just lost the game. My stomach hurt. It was just a bad weekend, man.
Man, if I had known so much was riding on that game, if only I had known.
Man, I'm sorry, it was just bad, man. But I enjoyed the experience, and plus, especially, I enjoyed the experience watching you two guys play. Now, Mark, let's go back to that year, back to '99, the inaugural East and West Championship game.
Yeah,
a lot was building up on that game. I know you had Sylvester Morris, you had Daniel God, you had Lawrence Stewart, you had Leroy Field. Then you look behind, you had Deshaun Wright, Damian Ducksworth, or William Spencer. A lot was riding in the game based off of the passing offense. What did you bring into that game? It's like, man, we gotta do what we gotta do, because Southern beat us there early that year. But then,
well, for me, that earlier game with Southern wasn't. It wasn't for me. It was one of those games where I think I got the game before I separated my shoulder, so it wasn't. I wasn't 100%, and not being 100% physically means that you have to, you're probably not playing at 100% mentally. And that game for me was it reeked of just not being in tip-top shape physically and mentally, and being mentally ready to face the opponent that, winds up being, our rival, not just, from a championship football perspective, but just in the SWAC. Jackson State Southern is like, one of the biggest rivalries there is. But getting to that game, it's the opportunity to try to prove, with all the weapons that we have, that we are contenders, and that, we can get back in the rightful spot, in the SWAC, in the rivalry and everything. So a lot riding on that game. A lot of weapons, a lot of good things. It was a heartbreaker of a game, but it was, it's like any battle, any war. You leave it all out on the field, and, blood, tears, and sweat. At the end of the day, we put it out there. We didn't have anything to be ashamed of. We had everything to be proud of and to hold our heads up. That's just how football goes. Any given Saturday for us, at the college level.
Well, Kent, now how was it for you? Seeing your first championship game from the sideline. I know, I know your attitude. Because actually, when we was recruiting you, how excited you was, even on campus. We was on campus playing football in the plaza. Well, me and Kent was on campus. Ken
Wow.
and what was the quarter? What was the receiver? Miles. We was on the plaza playing football with some. I think we had a few other students come by there. And so
I think I remember hearing about that.
Kid, it was Kid.
By any means necessary, man. By any means, man.
That's a guy who just wants to play ball right there. I feel you.
That's it, man. That's it. We wanted the kids to feel like they was a part of the football team. So hey, come on out here, let's play with some football players, man. It's all good.
Kid, like I said, that was your first year being on the sideline. How did that make you feel? Seeing Mark and the weapons that he had come out there and play, and I know you was getting a little excited. Said, "Hey, I'm gonna have a few of those weapons after Mark leave," but you saw how the offense, how powerful the offense throughout the season. Were you eager to get in, or were you say, "Hey, well, this is my opportunity to sit back and learn, and then when my opportunity comes, I'm taking off running"?
Oh, I was sitting in that back seat, man. I was already Cadillacing. I was clipboard Cadillacing right then. I was so excited to see all the scouts coming to practice all the time. I mean, we had 2 first rounders. I mean, and the thing is that we had so much talent on that team, it was hard for them not to come around. So for me being a young boy from Indianola, Mississippi, coming up here, seeing all this talent and the ability that these guys had, I was just trying to soak it up, man. So to be at that SWAC championship game on the sideline, it was like my Super Bowl. I'm a deer in the headlights right now. So I was just kind of, the way I was dancing during the Southern game with the glasses, I was feeling the same way at the SWAC championship. I just had to compose myself.
See, you jumped ahead. I was going to get to that. Now, Ken, I know with you learning up under the coaches that you learned up under, offensive wise, I know from your high school coach. I can't think his name, but I know he was a successful coach.
Ricky Taylor.
Coach Taylor. Then you learned up under Coach Shannon. Then you transitioned up under Coach Pratt and Coach Asbury. Now I hear that you're coaching right now.
I am.
Is that true? And I think you won. Did you win the championship, or you was there?
Okay, so the thing was, I had just finished playing a little arena football in the spring, and we won a championship in the spring. I was blessed with the opportunity to go out and coach and be the head coach of a team in Albuquerque, New Mexico, called the Duke City Gladiators. We got to when I got there, we were 2-4. We finished the season 8-8. Got to the playoffs, got a 5th round seed. So we missed a home playoff game by 1 game. We ended up going and we won our first playoff game. The kicker made the kick, sent us to the second round. And the next game, man, the following game, we needed our kicker to come through, and he ended up going wide left. I don't blame him. I hate to put the game in the hands of the kicker, but during that time, that was the decision he had just made because he had just won the game for us a week before. This time he didn't make it. But that opportunity, man, it was a great opportunity. We were, like I said, 3 points away from the championship. And just been blessed, man. So, but the thing is, I turned that job down, man. It was a little too far from my family. So right now I'm looking to get back into coaching again. I'm doing a little subbing, but staying active in the sports world.
Okay. Well, what about you, Mark? I know you was in the music industry. Are you doing any coaching? Because I know,
no.
Mark, you still look like you got the itch on your head that you want to get back into coaching. You still like you got the itch, Mark.
You know what? I got there are some things to come. I actually have an idea for a foundation that I want to start, somewhere later. Like right now, I'm a corporate man. I work for a big corporate company in cloud division. But my coaching, though, I do as much as I can. I try to get back to the youngsters in and around the community that we live in. And my kids, I have a senior in high school that's getting ready to graduate in May 2022. And I have a 10th grader who she's, we're trying to figure out what she's doing with dance. That's the recital that I have to go to today. And then I have an 8th grader, right? So like with those guys, my hand stays full because when I go out to coach them, 1,000 of their friends will show up, and then some, other kids that, just are looking to try to soak in and get as much knowledge as they can. So I wind up, having to, be sort of the Sandlot coach.
Okay.
and it's great for me because what I'm doing when I'm out there is I'm really just breathing life into the children, giving them an opportunity to learn the fundamentals of football, which, to a large degree, we kind of slipped away from that a lot. A lot of kids in youth football are looking at these guys in the NFL, and to them it's become all about the flash. So you see kids out there, mastering their spin moves and mastering their hurdle stick. And you're going, but you can't block and tackle. So let's teach you how to do that. Let's teach you how to do it correctly. Let's teach quarterbacks, how to drop back with their eyes up the field and how to deliver a ball and how to throw with proper mechanics. Let's teach receivers about where their hands need to be, and what they need to look for when they line up on the line and that defense comes up. Right. So I've been engaging in that, not to get into, coaching in the actual school. But when I start this foundation, it's going to be based around that, developing kids in football and just developing character in young men and young women. So that's on the horizon for me.
Okay. All right. Now let's go back to 1999. Like what Song Prince say? Part of like is 1999.
1999, baby.
Kid, we're taking over the Jets. Will like I said, the keys were handed to you. So now you're in the front seat of the Cadillac now.
No, I wasn't in the front seat just yet. I wasn't driving, and put it like that. I wasn't driving. I was on the passenger seat.
On the front seat. You got moved to the front seat from the back seat.
I did get moved, yeah. TT was still driving, but I was in the front seat passenger side. I had my window down. I was a scrub. The song. I was a scrub. They don't want no scrub, but I was a scrub, so it was cool.
Yeah, the window down.
Your elbow hanging out the window, trying to holler at the
Oh yes, indeed. With the pinky ring on, so they can figure out I had something.
There you go.
Now that's it. Like I said, this transition 1999. Like I said, you were moved to the front seat.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you still learning up under. You learn from. I'm gonna start calling Coach Watson now, Mark, as well as Coach Shannon, and then you were moved up to the front seat to learn from Coach Shannon and Coach Asbury. What did they instill in you to be a better quarterback? To prepare you for SWAC football, because SWAC football is a lot different from high school football. Now, some people look at the SWAC, is the competition is not there. We produce good quality athletes because I'm looking at two of them right now myself. How did you prepare you mentally for that?
I mean, it was a grind, man. My biggest thing coming, my school wasn't coming out of Gentry High School. We were big on basketball. We had finally made a little noise in football, and so just to get the opportunity even to get to Jackson Stadium, for Judge to come to my house and sit at my my dinner table, just to give me that chance, it was it was a blessing. And then he told me about the offense, and then to see it for myself. John Shannon, by far, man, he was probably the most impactful person as far as me learning the game of football, because he stayed on me. I mean, Mark can attest to it. When I say he stayed on you, the smallest things were the things that he made sure that you knew what you were doing, why the ball was going that way. And I just figured, he was being rough on me. And I'm like, hey, man, come on. I know I ain't the best, but if you can give me a little slack, but I appreciated that. I look back at it now. I reached out to him a little while ago, just to say, hey, Coach, I appreciate it, because just that impact that he made sure that he put his foot on me to be the best that I can be. That took me a long way, man. And then the players around me, I can specifically remember in the weight room trying to lift weights with Daniel Guy. And if y'all know who Daniel Guy is, like I know who Daniel Guy is, my God, man, it was like trying to lift with Megatron. And I'm in there like, hey, I'm a country boy from small town. I ain't even let this boy outlift me. So I was like, hey, look, I ain't lifting with the quarterbacks. I want to lift with you. I ain't learned how to lift weights yet. So it wasn't just one person, man. It was really a collective effort, man. And to get hit in the mouth like I did by Reed and Chandler doing scout teams, man, that knocked snot out my nose. That made a big difference. That showed me I can play with the big boys, but if I could take a lick for them cats, man, who was getting drafted by the NFL, then I knew I was gonna be able to hold up with anybody else hitting me on the field.
All right, well,
that tends to make a man out of you.
Oh man.
now, Kent, I'm not trying to knock away what Reese and Chandler them did to you. I think Mark had it worse. I'm just be honest, I think he had a worse scout team.
Yeah,
during that time, it was just everybody was just dirty, were mean and stuff. So I think Mark had it worse. Now, let's transition back now. If you look at Jackson State right now, compared to how it was, when you guys came through, that's from your time, Mark, as well as your time, Ken. Do you think that you would have turned out a lot better with Jack State now or Jack State back then when you were playing? That goes from the facility that they have, all the luxury things that they have. No, this is just say if you were your years were what they have right now, do you think you would have turned out better, or you think you did fine with what you had back then?
Mark, you want to go or you want me to take it?
I'll put in my 2 cents, and I'll just try to keep it fundamental. From the perspective of who's coaching and who's in the program right now, no. From the perspective of how football as a business is done right now and the exposure that you can get because of technology, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was too. I was thinking back, I'm like, man, I can't even find any VHS tapes of me playing.
Right.
So it's more of just the exposure. That's in anything. It's the exposure. More eyes getting to see you, more eyes getting a little more attention, and that gives you a little more pep. Also, it gives you an extra push to know that somebody's always watching. Like I said, when those scouts were coming to the practice in '99, it was like, man, you're gonna go out there and practice your hardest because guys were coming to see you. So I wouldn't take anything away from my experience or just the coaches, what we went through and the struggles that we had, because it made us who we are today. It made us the players that we were, because if it wasn't for the grind, I think it would be I think we wouldn't have that grit that we have now. Not saying the guys don't have grit now, but it took a special type of grit to down up on the hill.
No doubt.
On a daily basis, man.
Down up on the hill, pull them tires, and get on them corners,
and duck when shots are being fired around the neighborhood. Shots fired, duck.
Yeah, almost forgot that one.
Again, this is More on the Road with Bernard Moore III, presented to you by More and More Sports Management. Talking with former JSU quarterback greats Mark Washington, Robert Kent. Now, I know the swag. Do you think Dr. McClendon, what he's doing with the swag? How do you feel about being part of that history of being part of history of the swag to what they're doing with the swag right now, with the expansion, the exposure that they're getting? Do you feel confident? Hey, man, no, I helped. You can say, hey, I helped build the swag a little.
I don't say it's about time. I just think it's about time.
Yeah.
Hey, man, when you walk down the hall, when I first got to Jackson State, and we walking down the hallway in the office, and you can see those legends that went to Jackson State, I'm like, man, we got some greats hanging up on this wall, man. So why aren't we still getting the same exposure when we have so many guys who have made such an impact and that we're able to go to the league, the Robert Brazile. So it's like, man, where did it come from? But just the path and the route that they're on right now, the exposure that they're getting, to see that you don't have to go to a Division I school, the Alabamas and the Michigans and the Texases, just to get exposure. You can go to a 1AA SWAC school and get the same exposure and get the opportunity to make it to the next level.
That's right. Yeah. I love what they're doing, opening it up. I mean, the schools that they've added into the SWAC, that were coming from the MEAC and some of the schools on the East Coast, making the competition level higher, getting games on the schedules that, games with Division I, single A schools. I think that's brilliant. I think that definitely opens up the exposure. But, at the end of the day, just like Rob was saying, the only thing that really matters is whether you're balling out. at your position, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, you ball out. I mean, think about all those guys. Think about the Walter Paytons. Think about the Robert Braziers. Think about, I'm gonna say some other names that some people don't, wouldn't ordinarily say, like the Sean Woodsons. Like we called him Super Crab, and that's because he was he was an outstanding true freshman player, and he was before my time. But when I came in as a freshman, this guy was a safety, and he was a pro safety playing at Jackson State. That's the caliber that he played at. But you think about the Michael Strahan, like those guys didn't focus on, am I getting the right exposure at Texas Southern or at Jackson State? Steve McNair, am I getting the right exposure at Alcorn? They thought about, and every time I step on that field, am I winning play by play, game by game? Am I putting the best foot forward and balling out basically? And then that's what got those guys to the NFL and the Hall of Fame, and
Right.
so on and so forth.
But I really just want to say I'm really thankful that these guys are coming back and giving us that opportunity to get that exposure. For Deion to even take the job, for like Eddie George to take the job. Man, that just it's so many athletes out there that we as small or HBCUs can give those guys an opportunity, give those professionals those opportunities that help us. It may springboard them to somewhere else that they want to go, because that's just what I tell people. You always use people when you meet them, not necessarily use them in an advantage of just taking advantage of them, but you use them for what they can offer you or what how you can grow from it. And I just think that the opportunity of Deion coming in, Eddie George coming in, that we're able to use them to spring our program, springboard our programs to that next level like they're doing right now. So I just think, man, like I said, it's a blessing, and I hope more athletes continue to do it, because it'll only expand what we're doing or what we've been doing for years. Or at least open the eyes up.
And I know once you hear the rumblings of coaches coming to your program, you hear it, and some people say, well, no, that's not true. And I looked at it. I like what Ashley's doing at Jackson State. I like what Ashley has done from his transition from when he was at Prairie View, then when he was at Valley. And definitely like what he's doing at Jackson State is that it's more of a business. He's a business-minded athletic director, and that's what he's thinking about. He's thinking about the business aspect of the university to help the university brand grow. And with bringing Coach Prime to Jackson State, that just expanded the market and saying, hey, people finna definitely pay attention to Jackson State, because I know the previous years when as alumnus, that when you get around somebody say Jack State, man, that's what y'all doing at Jack State. You got your presidents over there doing stuff. You got your coaches, can't win a game, and you doing this. You got administration stealing money, and you kind of like, well, yeah, I got to take it.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now.
So you had to sit there and take it. Yeah, that's what's going on. But hey, we're going to get better. And I say again, the opportunity right now for what Jack State is doing to remove that black eye, to go ahead and like I said, get that stake put on that black eye, go ahead and remove it, and let's get back to work. And I think that's what they're doing with the transition they're going in right now with President Hudson and his staff and Coach Prime and their staff. And I'm not just going to say Coach Prime, the girls basketball team, and as well as the men's basketball team, the volleyball team, they're developed, even cross country. So you see a lot of championships are being won in athletics right now at Jackson State. So it's not just saying Coach Prime, but yeah, Coach Prime is hot because of who he is. But don't forget about, again, girls volleyball back-to-back. They almost had a three-peat. They lost to FAMU. And then the women's basketball program, back-to-back champions. Then the men's basketball program had an undefeated SWAC season, but then just lost the last game in the championship. Mark Coach Thorne and his cross-country and track and field, they're winning championships. So champions are being developed at Jackson State. But again, I applaud them what they're doing right now. But now it's definitely time for they go ahead and bring home their football championship today.
And what about golf? What about golf, Bernard?
Golf is still still suspended. They still haven't brought golf back yet. And I'm not sure if they still haven't brought golf back yet.
They bring golf back and do something there, then we'll be on the map.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Hey! You know I'm a tennis player. Don't be
Yeah,
talking
that's right.
about golf. We got to
Oh
talk
yeah,
about some tennis
tennis.
That's
No,
right.
too.
That's
I
right.
forgot
That's
about
right.
tennis. Tennis definitely
Yeah,
doing something as
you
well.
we
Coach
want us
Moore. Yeah, Coach
we
Moore,
want
she's
us a
doing some
SWAC
things over there too.
championship back then.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
forget about tennis. By mistake, brother Kim, we forgot about tennis.
Hey, I sure appreciate it, man.
But man, guys, again, I really appreciate your time, man. This Saturday morning, Mark, I thank you for jumping on. I know you had some family obligation. Like I said, you see that I'm at church. We getting stuff ready for a community event that we're hosting, that we're doing tomorrow for our church. One thing my pastor said though, COVID has taught us a whole lot. But with COVID, it taught us that we need to stick together and work together. And that's the thing that
Amen.
my pastors is still in us right now. We definitely need to work together, especially with the community. My church is located. I can walk to Jackson State. I can walk to the football field for my church. That's just how close I
Wow.
am to Jackson State. So my church is in the community. So this is definitely helping out. This is my community as well, since I'm a former student athlete at Jackson State as well. So this is our way of giving back.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Hey, guess what? Hey, could you imagine Judge on the Aflac commercial doing that dance? Trying to play defense. Trying to play defense on that duck.
Jared would have told that duck to down up.
Down up,
Yeah.
duck.
and then probably said, I'm gonna put you on the grill.
Yeah.
Man, again, man, I really appreciate you guys' time though for
Hey,
doing
but
that.
hey, shout out to TC, man. I can't forget my baby, my main man, TC Taylor, man, for him taking over the offense and the things that they've done as far as,
Yeah.
offensive wise, making that move, to go from a quarterback to go to now one of the leading receivers in Jackson State history, and now to go back and give back to the school and to take the offense to the heights that it's going to right now. So, hey, man, I'm giving a pat on the back to TC, and not just TC, but everybody down there. But I got to give my man a special shout out for doing the things he's doing. And hopefully whenever Deion decide to, ride his wave out of here, TC can come on in. TC, I'm coming to join you, baby. I'm coming to join you.
I'm going to text him too and told him, I'm going to give him a call, tell him you said that.
Hey, you can quote me on that one on the B Mo show, baby, on the B Mo show.
No doubt, man. We look, the guys of yesteryear, we hold him up, man. He's doing a great job, and you can't represent our era of football any better than what he's doing. Where he is right now, play calling. But I've seen a number of interviews with him, and he's just he's well spoken. He's very confident, man. I just love what I'm seeing from TC, man. It's just a great representation of me and Kent and the guys before us. It's just brilliant, and of that coaching staff, by the way.
All right, so now I'm gonna say this now. I'm not speaking things into existence now. So if TC is handed the keys to the program, we all got to meet up at the Boom Boom Room now.
Hey, listen, I'm sending my resume in. You hear me? I'm sending my resume in.
Nah, I ain't talking about service. We all got to meet up at the Boom Boom Room. We're gonna have a party at the Boom Boom Room.
Oh, that's a definite. You ain't got to worry about that. That is a definite.
Man, again, man, I really appreciate you guys for joining me this Saturday morning. Anything y'all want to say before we get on up out of here?
Man, shout out to JSU, man. Go out there and let's go do what we're supposed to do today, and end on a high note, so we can look forward to next year and doing it again and again and again and again. JSU rocks the house, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, it goes out to JSU. Go bring back that ring, baby.
All right, guys, man. Again, I really appreciate the time, man. Y'all guys take it easy out there where you guys are. Be safe, man, and have fun.
Without a doubt. I appreciate you, B. Keep doing your thing, man.
All right. Appreciate it,
guys. All right, Rob.
Again, I was just talking with Mark Washington, Robert Kim, former JSU quarterbacks here. No, just definitely giving a shout out to what the guys are doing right now. Well, if we're ready to get on up out here again, I really thank you guys for tuning in to More on the Road with Bernard Moore III, presented to you by More and More Sports Management. It's time to get out of here. We'll finish and go get some go get ready to watch some SWAC football. Watch JSU face Prairie View A&M Panthers here in Jackson, Mississippi for the SWAC 2021 SWAC championship game, the real SWAC championship game. So much love to you guys. I'm up out of here. 1 + 1 = deuces.